The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
It's Saturday, April 18th, 2026, and the documents are screaming, Ashley. They are screaming from the desk. We are sitting here in the Situation Room because the rest of the world has decided to take a collective hit of cognitive dissonance and jump off a metaphorical cliff. But we're the ones holding the safety rope, and I'm about 3 seconds away from snapping.
Good morning to you too, Ray. You're already at a 10 and we haven't even finished the coffee. But you're right. It's a solid lineup today. We've got a lot of ground to cover, from the literal collapse of the rule of law on our streets to some actually, dare I say, hopeful news in the world of sports.
Hope is a luxury for people who aren't watching the globalists systematically dismantle the family unit, Ashley. We got people disappearing. We got energy prices that look like a heart rate monitor after a gallon of super male vitality bone broth, which, by the way, we are restocked on, folks. Get it while it lasts, because the supply chains are being sabotaged by cyborgs. But we have to stay focused. Yesterday, we watched Eric Swalwell slink away like a dog with its tail between its legs after those misconduct allegations.
Total get-out-of-jail-free card. He resigned so the ethics committee couldn't touch him. Classic cowardice. And we saw the California Supreme Court try to destroy John Eastman's life for the crime of giving legal advice the regime didn't like.
It's lawfare. It's biblical lawfare. But today we start in the classrooms, because the predatory behavior isn't just in the halls of Congress anymore. It is in the kindergarten classes. It is in the high schools.
Let's be real. The boundary blurring we've seen in schools for the last decade, it was always a precursor to what's happening now. But we're seeing a very crucial pushback. In Duval County, Florida, they just announced they removed 19 teachers since the start of the term.
19 predators! 19! Oh, I slammed desk.
Well, the district is calling it the Know the Line initiative. It's actually common sense, Ray. They're training kids and staff to recognize grooming. No private social media contact. No secret nicknames. They had one teacher calling a student baby girl in private messages. I'm sorry, but if you were a teacher and you think that's okay, you don't belong anywhere near a child. Get a helmet. The world is done coddling your mentor excuses.
It's the tactical bat salts they're putting in the water, I'm telling you. It lowers the inhibitions of the teachers, while the gender inclusivity protocols in places like Washington State, which, by the way, the feds are now investigating, are designed to create a secrecy zone between the child and the parent. Listen to me. I have the white papers. The Washington school agencies were told to hide a student's gender journey from the parents. The feds are actually looking into whether that violates parental rights.
It took them long enough. Here's the reality. When you tell a child that the state is their true family and their parents are the enemy, you are creating a vacuum for predators to fill. Salem, New Hampshire? A teacher resigned just 4 days ago because of inappropriate social media exchanges. Kingston, Massachusetts? A teacher fired after a TikTok video showed them having sexualized conversations with a minor.
It's an epidemic. A California-based Focus on the Family report says this is a literal epidemic of sexual abuse in schools. And the media's silent. They'd rather talk about gender inclusivity while the actual monsters are raiding the hen house. I'm telling you, it's all connected to the degradation of the biological reality, which leads us right into the street, Ashley. The streets are on fire.
And they're doing donuts on the fire. Let's talk about Atlanta. Did you see this? Hundreds of people swarming an intersection for an illegal street takeover. They're doing donuts, they're blocking emergency vehicles, and the police are essentially told to observe and report, because heaven forbid we actually enforce a law in a major metro area.
Well, it's the collapse of the social contract. If you can't drive your car to the hospital because some 20-year-old with a modified Honda wants to pretend he's in a movie, the state has failed. But then you look at Massachusetts, 12 people arrested because the police actually deterred a planned takeover. 12! They used tech, they used intelligence, they actually did their jobs.
Exactly. It's a choice. Law and order is a choice. Look at the border. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is out there celebrating 9 straight months of zero releases into the interior. January 2026 saw a record low of about 6,000 apprehensions. That's a 93% decrease.
Okay, but they're using biometrics now, Ashley. The Bitmap Act. Michael McCall and Henry Cuellar, bipartisan, imagine that, are pushing to codify iris scans and fingerprints in foreign countries. They want to turn the whole world into a digital filter.
Right, but Ray, isn't that what we wanted? To stop them before they touch the soil?
It's a double-edged sword, Ashley. You give the globalists the power to scan your iris in Panama, they're going to be scanning your iris at the grocery store to see if you've had your latest mandatory infusion. They want to move the front line, but the front line is becoming everywhere.
Well, at least it's better than the open door policy we had 2 years ago. But look at Connecticut. The DOJ is suing them. Actually, it's the Trump DOJ now, suing Connecticut because they're refusing to cooperate with ICE. It's the sanctuary showdown. The state is trying to protect criminals while the feds are saying, no, we have a country to run.
It's a subversion of the Constitution. You have states acting like independent demonic fiefdoms. And speaking of fiefdoms, Gavin Newsom. Oh, I love this one. This is the pure, unadulterated essence of the globalist ego.
Oh, you mean New York Times best-selling author Gavin Newsom?
Bestseller. He bought 67,000 copies of his own book with PAC money. $1.5 million of donor cash. Listen to me. He's using Campaign for Democracy funds to buy his own memoir, Young Man in a Hurry. Yeah, he's in a hurry to fleece his donors and pump his own ego so he can run in 2028.
It's a total scam. According to the California Globe, 2/3 of the print copies sold were bulk bought by his own PAC. They're giving them away for $5 donations just to juice the numbers. It's a bestseller boondoggle. I'm sorry, but if you have to buy your own books to look popular, you're not a leader, you're a marketing project.
He's a hollowed-out vessel for the Davos crowd. And while he's playing Author of the Year, his state is hemorrhaging wealth. We have data now showing a $22 billion wealth migration out of blue states. 16 million new immigrant voters are paying billions in taxes, but the people who actually built the infrastructure are fleeing to Florida and Texas because they can't afford the gas.
Speaking of gas, national average hit $4.10 this week. Wohler from the Fed says energy prices jumped nearly 11% in a single month. That is a direct hit on the victimhood industrial complex because now everyone is a victim of the pump.
It's survival inflation. I've said it before. It's a globalist tax on movement. They want you stuck in your 15-minute city, eating the bug burgers while Elon Musk is...
Wait. Don't go off on Elon yet. He's pushing this universal high income idea again because of AI. Even OpenAI is talking about a public wealth fund.
It's a trap. It's the UBI bait. They take away your job with their human-animal hybrid AI robots, and then they give you a digital allowance that they can turn off if you post the wrong thing on social media. It's total control. It's over for humanity if we accept the digital breadcrumbs.
Let's be real, Ray. If the AI actually takes 40% of the jobs, what's the alternative? We just have 40 million people starving in the streets?
We build, we create, we get back to the land, we stop the machines. But before we get into the interdimensional stuff, we need to talk about the people who are actually building the future we want.
Right. Before we get back to the analysis, let's deal with a hard reality. Real independence isn't free. This entire network, from this show to our flagship, The Neural Daily, exists because one man, Eric Christensen, decided to build it himself. He didn't ask for a government grant. He invested his own capital and technical expertise to architect a media platform that respects your intelligence. If you value that kind of meritocratic building, back it up. And don't limit yourself to just the politics. Get the full strategic picture by subscribing to the Neural Daily and the rest of the network. Support the builder, and you support the mission.
Roar! Support the mission because the mission is the only thing standing between you and the abyss. Okay, Ashley, let's look at a win. Let's look at some sanity before my head explodes. The Olympics.
I never thought I'd see the day, but the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, is actually showing some spine. For the LA 2028 Games, the female category is going to be strictly limited to biological females. No more self-identification, no more hormone suppression loopholes.
They're using the SRY gene test. They're checking for the Y chromosome. This is what I've been screaming about. Biology is not a suggestion. It is a fundamental, divinely ordained blueprint.
Well, even the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals is starting to signal that the Title IX interpretation that includes gender identity is an open question. They didn't strike down Minnesota's policy yet, but they're basically waiting for the Supreme Court to say what we all know. Female means female. Kirsty Coventry from the IOC said it best. Male chromosomes give performance advantages in power and endurance. It's not fair, period.
It's the erasure of women I was talking about back in March. They finally realized they were destroying their own product. But the legal war against tradition continues, Ashley. Look at the Little Sisters of the Poor. Again. They're being sued again over contraception mandates. These poor nuns. Oh, it's been over a decade of litigation. They just want to care for the elderly without being forced to pay for things that violate their most deeply held beliefs. It's the victimhood industrial complex trying to crush a group of women who actually do the work of helping people. It's disgusting. It's demonic. It's a targeted harassment of the faithful. But the White House, and I have to give them credit here, commemorating the Bible's 250-year influence on America, oh, that's a signal. That's a flare in the dark.
It's a start. But Ray, we need to get to the story that's actually making the hair on my arm stand up. The scientists. And the bullies in the East.
This is the one. This is the main event. Listen to me. China is mocking us. They're using AI-generated animations of martial arts to portray the U.S. as a white eagle attacking Persian cats. They're mocking Trump. They're mocking the military. And they're using the Strait of Hormuz blockade we're doing against Iran to justify their own potential blockade of Taiwan.
They're calling it the new standard for maritime order. Basically saying if the U.S. can bully Iran, we can bully Taiwan. It's a rhetorical skeleton key. And state media in Beijing is running circles around our communications teams.
Because our communication teams are busy looking for microaggressions while Admiral Kohler's out there saying China's bullying tactics in the South China Sea, the rammings, the lasers, have failed to stop the Philippines. The Filipino fishermen are still out there. They have more guts than our entire State Department.
But Ray, the scientists...
11 scientists, all linked to UFO and anti-gravity research. The 11th one just died or disappeared. Trump himself confirmed the White House is investigating it. He called it pretty serious.
Oh, Ray, you think it's interdimensional vampires again, don't you?
I don't think, Ashley. I have the reports. When you start messing with zero-point energy and the anti-gravity tech that the globalists have been hiding in the desert for 70 years, you become a target. These are just missing persons. This is a secret holding purge.
Here's the reality, though. Even if you don't believe in the aliens part of it, the national security implication is huge. If top-tier physicists who are working on the next generation of propulsion are being neutralized, that is an act of war. Whether it's by a foreign power or an internal shadow government, it's a collapse of our strategic depth.
It's both. It's the axis of upheaval. China, Iran, and the interdimensional entities that are feeding off the chaos. Why do you think they're mocking us with AI martial arts? They want us to think they're just trolling, but they're conditioning the global south to see us as a dying, weak eagle.
Well, the white eagle still has claws, Ray, but we have to stop biting ourselves. We're losing the law and order battle at home with street takeovers and Newsom's book-buying scams. And we're losing the narrative battle abroad.
'Cause we've lost our anchor in truth. Biology is fluid. The border is secure when it's not, and the scientists are just missing. It's a shell game. They want you watching the donuts in Atlanta so you don't notice the UFO tech being consolidated by the CCP.
Excuse me? I think it's a bit more down to earth than that. It's about money and power. It's Newsom wanting to be president. It's the teachers' unions protecting predators because they don't want to admit their system is broken. It's the IOC finally realizing that if they let biological males win everything, nobody will watch the Olympics and they'll lose billions. Follow the money, Ray. It always leads back to the same place.
The money leads to the printers, and the printers are owned by the globalists. It's a one big loop. But we're breaking the loop. Every day we're here, we're throwing a wrench in the gears of the machine.
Or at least we're shouting at the machine until it gets a headache.
That's a start. It's Saturday, April 18th, and we are still here. They haven't silenced us yet, even with the lawsuits and the shadow banning. I'm telling you, folks, get your Brain Force Plus, get your bone broth, and get your head on a swivel. The sanity we're restoring, it's going to be a long, bloody fight.
Life is hard. Get a helmet, and maybe read a book that wasn't bulk bought by a pack.
Burn the memoirs. Read the white papers. We'll be back on Monday to see if the 12th scientist has vanished into the ether. Stay alert. They are watching.
And so are we. Have a great weekend, everyone.
It's over for the globalists. We see ya.